I did it the best I could.
Say that again. What did you just say?
I walked up over the bedrooms, and I walked up over the hall to go to the attic.
Yeah.
And I walked up the steps, and out on Philadelphia Avenue side, he had a big what do artists call them?
A studio?
Yeah, it was a big studio, but it's a certain kind of window. He made it so that he had all the light he needed coming in there,
Yeah.
and that was pretty high up. I don't remember. I must have sat down. I can't remember standing for any of his portraits because, you know.
So you had to pose for them?
Mm-hmm. That's what he was doing because this is a picture of somebody, but what he had was in him. I mean, he had all this art just ready to pour out, you know.
Right.
And when he could get out of the store, he had made this young man his to take charge of his store. He was a real good young fella. And then when my dad could get out and get away to do somebody's portrait, it was just came out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that's what I got a lot of times when I get questions like that. God, how do you do that? I don't understand. How do you do that? You know?
Yeah.
But because all of us were artistic to some degree, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just in him, and it came out in New York, came out in Philadelphia, but he didn't stay there. He came back to where would he come back to West Pittston, or
I think so.
to the store in Pittston to take over for this other young fella?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Because that fella was very good, and he was thrilled with the job, you know, because it made him charge of the Barrett's paint store, you know.
Yeah.
And so he did well with his upping, you know, and he was very responsible. And
His promotion, he did well with his promotion.
yeah, and if my dad and mother even were off to Williamsburg to take me to school or something, they could just leave him in charge of his store, you know.
Yeah.
And just totally reliable. Things were just so different at that time. You had people that took upon them, if something was given to them, it was a trust.
Yeah.
And my dad didn't feel a thing about leaving him while he brought me down to Williamsburg, you know, and that's quite a trip from there down to there, you know.
Yeah.
In fact, we had family in North Carolina. Mama's sister and that family was all in North Carolina, so we probably went through there and everything, but people do a lot of traveling. Of course, right now, the traveling, I guess, is tremendous, isn't it?
Seems like it. Did you all go down to visit Mama's sisters?
Oh, yeah, we went down to Greensboro, North Carolina. My Uncle John, and they had Carolyn, and they had, I think the boy was kind of about Cameron's age. We went down, and I don't know how long, but definitely we must have stopped for a period of time, you know, because they were those three sisters of Mr. I think I'm getting all this right, of Mr. Westbrook, Sinclair, etc., etc. probably were very determined when they wanted to get together and have everybody
Yeah.
get together. And when we'd meet in not Harrisburg, that's PA, Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Uh-huh.
And Addie, this little black lady, oh, Miss Claire, oh, oh, oh. I mean, to her, it was the queen coming.
Yeah.
And she was so overjoyed. And of course, my Uncle Herbert, constantly in the South, somebody like him would be supplying and helping the black family.
Uh-huh.
You know, that family, helping her and her sons,
Uh-huh.
and however many she had. I don't really know all about that, but
Helping her do what?
with money,
Oh, uh-huh.
yeah, to give them a job that nobody could come in and knock them out, you know, and
Yeah.
try to take what they were trying to build up. They were trying to build up a home.
Yeah.
She was trying to. I don't ever remember a husband being mentioned, but maybe there was none. I don't know. But
Yeah.
and in Greensboro, it was the same thing with my Aunt Louise, because they had a faithful helper and person, you know, in the home, and Uncle John would help in any way he could to build that family up and make sure that those families were well treated and kept under the care of the white family, because, you know, there was a lot of times when people got knocked out of where they were and never could get back, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But they would try to really make a promise to them of taking care of them till their children, and they had nothing, you know, they didn't have anything, but that their children could grow up and get to school and
Yeah.
learn what they wanted, you know.
Yeah.
So it was just something that in the South, and I imagine a lot of places in this country, that certain situations take over, and this one takes over and helps that one to get a start, you know, and
Yeah.
whether they're black or white or whatever. There's a lot of areas right now where Hispanics and all are trying to get themselves, you know,
Right.
with some degree of sanity, you know.
Get started and find
Yeah.
a home and make a safe place.
Yeah, because it's an amazing thing, but especially in the South, it just was just kind of like it ran like a thing in the movies, you know.
Yeah.
When if you could get a worthwhile black lady that could leave her children at home and maybe have the older grandmother watch them, then she could get up and go out and work for my Uncle Herbert, you know, and his family.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, they just had a great respect because they treated each other like that, you know.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to get something out of somebody. They were realizing this is another person. They're different than all of us, but they're going to help us what we need, and we'll take care of them, you know.
Yeah.
And some of the Southern families were just that way. I mean, I imagine most of them were, because they just needed help from, you know, another situation.
Yeah.
But it was, but I remember her come from the kitchen. It was not too big a kitchen. Oh, Miss Claire!
That was Miss Hattie. Happy to see you, Mama.
She thought that God himself had dropped out of the sky, I'm sure. She just worshiped Miss Claire.